I have to say, I have been pleasantly surprised. Normally when something truly despicable is going on in the video game world, when games themselves essentially are becoming propaganda, where we're getting Spider-Man 2 DEI edition, God of War, ESG edition. This is going on. Games themselves feel like propaganda. It's all about woke agendas, forcing politics into games, spreading the message as the be-all and end-all. Gamers know it, but sadly don't talk about it enough. They don't speak up about it, and many of us just go back to consuming product and we forget about it for a while. Whenever there's outrage, it often just doesn't last very long. But with Sweet Baby Inc., it feels different. Time has passed. The Steam Curator, where all this kind of started in, I guess, kind of the mainstream, it's really kicked things off. People have had enough. They are sick of games putting entertainment last and putting a certain brand of politics first. We're not going to cop that anymore, and we're at least going to do our best to speak out about it and maybe even vote with our wallets as well. That is the purpose of the Curator, the fact that when you go on Steam, you will not see games that Sweet Baby Inc. are involved in. Now, Sweet Baby, as always, they haven't gone back to the drawing board and sort of thought, you know what, maybe people are right, maybe we are insane, and we need to change up what we're doing. Maybe we should stop ruining games for everyone and stop threatening everyone who disagrees with us. They're certainly not doing that. They're doubling down. Members of this pathetic organization keep coming out. They keep insulting anyone who disagrees with them and are basically implying that anyone who isn't on board with their activism, they're deplorables. Now, I've got a couple of things to show you. So first of all, we've got this LinkedIn post from the co-founder of Sweet Baby Inc., David Bedard. And he says, "For the past 4 months, my company, Sweet Baby Inc., has been targeted by a far-right harassment campaign / conspiracy theory." Always the far-right boogeyman, isn't it? Someone can be a literal Nazi who in 2024, they're on board with everything that went on in the 1940s. You can be that person, and according to people like David, you are literally the same as someone who installs the Sweet Baby Inc. Steam Curator. They are all on the same level. They're all in the same group, according to David. What is in the middle for these people? Because anytime someone doesn't agree with you, they are supposedly so far right on the political spectrum that you can't even see it. The line is so far away, you can't see those people. What is someone who isn't like that, who is maybe not to the left, they're just sitting in the middle, they're more of that moderate? Do they exist to you, David, or do you think that's all a mirage, that it's either total extremes, black and white? I guess it is for you. He goes on to say, "This is a tough situation for me. My co-founder, Kim Belair being the insane person who did a presentation, there are a lot of videos of that went around, where she basically admitted that Sweet Baby Inc. are a cartoon villain organization whose only goal is to ruin games, take them out of the hands of people who enjoy them, and just turn them into total political propaganda and nothing else. That's her only goal, her sole goal. She hates gamers. She hates anyone who enjoys games. They're an inconvenience for her because games should just be a vehicle to spread the message." That was that person. He goes on to say, "It's a tough situation for Kim, our entire team, and our collaborators. Oh, more than the frustrations caused by the harassment and the precautions we're putting in place as a result of that. What are these precautions that you need to put in place? Turning off the computer screen? I highly doubt anyone has come up to you in real life. You don't go anywhere anyway, but no one goes up to you in real life and harasses you at all. People don't really care that much. They're not like you guys, people on your side of the aisle, who do get in people's faces, harass them, block traffic, all of that sort of crap. Most people, they're keeping to themselves. They've installed a Steam Curator, which tells them what games your shitty organization has assisted with and tainted to some degree. All it does is tell us that. And then we go ahead and don't buy games that have your stamp on them. According to you, that's harassment, and you need to put precautions in place. By that, do you mean contacting every mainstream gaming outlet like the PC gamers and Eurogamers and everything else and telling them, you need to start putting out more propaganda about how everyone's wrong and these gamers who are calling us out, they're sexist, they're phobes, put articles about that right now, or we'll tell our friends at BlackRock and Vanguard to stop giving you funding, you better do it, which they did. There were so many articles that circulated at once trying to convince, I guess, gaming normies that Sweet Baby Inc. isn't a thing and they aren't pushing their propaganda into everything. That was kind of creepy. So is this what you mean, David, that you consider people ignoring you to be harassment? That is sadly how it is. I always see that if you're not on board with us, if you don't take a side and conveniently stand with us, you're part of the problem. So you can't even ignore these people these days without them harassing you themselves. Ridiculous. The toughness we're facing comes from the fact that this entire campaign is based on misinformation. Misinformation so wild and left field, or right field, I guess, that it's impossible to even engage with it to combat. Well, you've done a pretty good job of engaging with it, David. All of your colleagues have as well. You've tried to get the person who created the curator banned. You've had a crack at basically anyone who's come out and said negative anything about yourselves. You've even managed, your staff members, even managed to spit on the creator of Dragon Ball the same day that he passed. You thought that was an appropriate time, or at least your staff member thought it was an appropriate time to start slinging shit at a legend, to start talking about race and, oh, he was racist because he didn't put enough black people in Dragon Ball or some other nonsense. This is the mindset of you and your staff. You've obviously put together this rotten culture and you're to blame. You're at the top. You're the person who should be ashamed of yourself more than anyone else. You run an evil organization that people have had enough with. Just stop it. So we spoke with the press to clear things up about exactly what we do and how we do it. Adding our voices to this conversation felt necessary. Hang on a minute, you said a sentence ago that you couldn't even, it's impossible to engage. Now you're adding your voices. Oh, okay, so the truth comes out. You've never been silenced or quiet, despite what you try and do to everyone else. Anyone else says anything you don't like, you try and deplatform them, you try and expose them, dox them, get them fired from their jobs. And then you say it's, oh no, it's not cancelling, that doesn't exist. It's consequence culture. Well, how about this for Exhibit A of consequence culture? If it's truly real, we are seeing it in action in real time. People found out about your shady organization, that you masquerade as, oh, we're just video game consultants, we're here to help with the writing. Let's be real, no one who works for you even has the writing credentials to write the description on the back of a cereal box, and the only purpose that you serve is to eject the message into games, to basically try and take out anything that the average player might enjoy, say that it's bad, or you can't do that, this is the 21st century, and oh my god, if players just have fun, if they get immersed, if they get entertained, that is bad, because we've got an opportunity here to spread propaganda and put this in people's faces. We can't miss out on this opportunity. Our goal is to brainwash children and to convince them if you're not woke, you're an evil person who should be locked up. Sad thing is, it's not just children who plays games. Maybe your analytics told you that. These people don't play any video games, so they wouldn't know. Many of us who play video games, we're adults. And we're not going to be fooled by your disgusting trash that you put in here. We're not interested. We're frustrated. We just don't want to see it anymore. We just want to get back to being entertained, which is why the Steam Curator exists. We want to avoid anything that you touch. And you can't hack it. You've melted down for the last 2 weeks. I mean, he's even talking about 4 months. He's had this on his radar and he's been melting down. 4 months. All because we discovered what you're doing. You wanted to slither in the shadows. You knew that if we could see you for what you really are, we would see that you're a nauseating, deplorable organization. There's nowhere to hide now. You can make LinkedIn posts. You can try and threaten mainstream gaming outlets. No one cares anymore. You've got no credibility, neither does the gaming industry, media, or whatever. No one cares about any of that. We see you, the community can work together to create things like the Sweet Baby Ink detected Steam Curator. We've had enough. And it doesn't end here, because this is Kim Belair, mentioned in that LinkedIn post. This is the other co-founder of Sweet Baby Ink, I believe, and someone here's put together a nice little video that exposes them further, because again, Sweet Baby's defense has always been, oh no, we just consult for games. We might write a bit of text here and there. We might write an audio log that you might pick up in the game. Just a little touch-ups here and there. We're not doing anything else. Leave us alone. We're totally innocent. Oh, why are you complaining? Are you far right? What's wrong with you? It's that sort of defense. However, this video, again, its actions speak louder than words. Do not believe people when they say one thing and do another. It's very easy to make stuff up, to lie, to fool people, because again, these people don't even think that they're being immoral by doing that. They think that lying, cheating, and brainwashing people, it's all totally fine because they're on the right side of history. You can literally do anything that you want, and because you're on the right side, it's all okay, it's justified. They'll go to a good place when they die, it's all gonna be fine. But we see in this video, and this tweeter sums it up and says, if you want to see how much Sweet Baby Ink lied in Kotaku's pathetic ideological puff piece about how they don't force diversity into games, I've read that article. Pathetic is the right word. It was a sad article, and we will actually address the writer of that article in a second. See in this clip from Sweet Baby Ink's CEO herself explaining how they force their opinions into games to take over them. Hang on a minute, I thought you dabbled here and there, you were just there to put the icing on the cake. No, taking over apparently, those are her words. Let's see.
Work very hard to get marginalized talent into the industry, to protect them the way that we would want to have been protected, to lift them up, and to get them into an industry where they're too often shut out. And basically, I think to take over, in the hopes that some really dope people will be able to lead into kind of a new era for an industry that's been kind of, the same way too long.
So if we break that down just slightly, the first thing she bangs on about, we work very hard to get marginalized talent into the industry. How long are you going to be saying this? Because it's where's Wally these days to find just the straight white male who works at the company. There's very few of those people. Blue hair, pink hair everywhere, someone claiming that they're a woman when they've got the same genitals as me. This is it for the video game industry. Anywhere you go, it's like this. We're all diverse. This is incredible. We wouldn't have it any other way. All these companies are like this. So what is this hard work that you're doing? Because this has been happening for years now. It's not like this Sweet Baby Ink stuff is just brand new, that games were hunky-dory and now they're getting ruined. Entertainment, video games, at least from my end, they've been getting destroyed for a good long while, and it is hard, sadly, to pick up a piece of entertainment, whether it's a movie, a television show, a game, at least in the mainstream these days, and have it not feel like it's propaganda that you're being talked down to, and then you just feel like, hey, I'm brainwashing myself for entertainment. What is this? That doesn't feel good. So this has been happening for ages. How long are you going to say that these people are marginalized? They're not. They're given a trophy when they start if they're a person of color or they use pronouns that get you excited. These people are not excluded. They are propped up, and that has been the case for years. And if we look through this, that was the big takeaway of this, is she admits that her whole agenda, their aim, is to take over video games themselves, the particular game that they're working on, the entire industry. She will not rest. It is her purpose, her mission statement. Game industry is bad. We have to get anyone out of the industry who isn't on board with what we think, our agenda. She's not going to stop until that happens. So you can keep banging on about how you're innocent and the right-wing conspiracy, the far right are doing this. They've just got their eyes open. Anyone who sees you for what they are, they're purely being sensible. You can try and gaslight. It's not going to work anymore. And I mentioned that Kotaku article, and that came from this person, Alyssa Mercant, who, I mean, she says she, her as her pronouns on her profile, her Twitter profile, but I don't know if it's a she, her, or I'd be guessing at that stage. Just look at this person. But they say, I see a lot of industry folks and leaders with massive followings. I see a lot of industry folks and leaders with massive followings and influence staying very, very quiet right now. I'll remind you of one of my favourite Audre Lorde quotes. Your silence will not protect you. So again, you can't just have your opinion. You can't simply download a Steam Curator and ignore games. If you're not speaking out about how bad all these people are who just don't want to play a pile of junk that Sweet Baby has been involved in, you're just as evil as the people who are speaking out against it. So it's more of these threats. That's what Sweet Baby said themselves, that, hey, if your boss doesn't want to hire Sweet Baby Inc. to ruin the game, to ingest our crap into it, if your boss doesn't want to do that, threaten them at lunchtime. Go behind their back, go to the marketing team and terrify them. Convince them that they'll be cancelled if they don't hire Sweet Baby. All these sneaky dystopian tactics, they're all on board with it. And then this person here, this is the comment of the day. They respond to this and say, staying silent about this Sweet Baby shit. Staying silent about Palestine. Same silence back in 2020 for BLM. But will participate in the next round of game dev discourse. What an absolutely ideal comparison. People downloading this Sweet Baby Inc. Curator, purely using it as an individual to avoid games that Sweet Baby have been involved in, that is totally in line with people genuinely getting bombed in the Middle East, losing their lives, having really, really bad stuff happen to them, even if they survive the onslaught. Totally comparable. And you know what it exposes? That they don't really see the people involved in any of these things as human. They purely see the issue, and they see it from their lens. I don't care what this person thinks about the Palestine-Israel conflict. I could not give a toss what their conclusion is, although I can pretty easily guess. But they don't actually see anyone involved as a genuine human being. It's all just a vehicle for them to push their one direction, whatever their political leaning is. And it's just about feeling good about themselves. I'm a good person because I see it all this way. And you're literally a subhuman. This is the mindset of these people. They're not stopping. They're going to keep going harder because they're on the defense here. They don't have the high ground like they maybe have had in the past where they could talk down to anyone who wasn't on board with their agenda. And they can pretend that they were morally superior. People have had enough. They're not buying what you're selling. They can see you for what you are, that you are a corrupt. You don't care about your fellow humans. The only thing you care about is everyone thinking the same as you, because you're part of the club, and when the world changes and you're on the right side of history, supposedly you're going to be rewarded. This is what these people really think. I hope they continue to step on rakes and make total fools of themselves, and I'm sure there'll be more of this very soon. Thanks so much for listening. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.